The world is full of voices yearning for wealth. But what if this very pursuit, like an imperceptible poison, slowly robs you of your inner peace? What if money is not just financial capital, but a profound spiritual test that, for some reason, we rarely speak of? From childhood, we are taught to chase success, accumulate wealth, and work day and night for that coveted financial freedom. And perhaps, in the deepest corners of our souls, we genuinely believe, once I have more money, I will finally heal what hurts so agonizingly inside. But what if this relentless pursuit of material gain actually only exposes and reopens your deepest, still unhealed wounds? Today, we will take a deep dive into the thoughts of Carl Jung, the legendary Austrian psychiatrist, who asserted that the path to wealth can become not just a financial journey, but a decisive confrontation with our own unconscious. And no, this is not a call to despise wealth. It is an invitation to look at it without embellishment, with absolute clarity. For many of us, the road to money is something far greater. It is the beginning of a genuine, often agonizing, inner war. Read to the end, and together we will uncover the non-obvious psychological roots that can lead even the smartest, most capable, and most ambitious among us into a financial dead end. And, far more importantly, we will explore how money truly tests our very soul. Let's ask ourselves a question that perhaps has never been spoken aloud, but sits deeply within. Why do I want money so badly? No, not for obvious reasons like paying bills or caring for loved ones. I'm talking about a much deeper, truer reason. For most of us, money has long ceased to be merely a means of survival. It has transformed into a distorted mirror, reflecting every unspoken thought we've absorbed over the years about self-worth, security, love, and control. As the great Carl Jung taught, our shadow, those parts of ourselves we try to suppress, ignore, or hide, possesses incredible power, governing our decisions. And when it comes to money, this truth manifests with a particular, almost unsettling clarity. Pause for a moment and reflect. As a child, were you praised for your successes and achievements, or shamed for any perceived lack, for the slightest imperfection? In your home, was money associated with freedom and opening opportunities, or was it a constant source of fear and anxiety? And here's something no one will tell you aloud, but it's the honest truth. Our relationship with money is rarely a product of logic or rational choice. It is deeply emotional, rooted in the subconscious, and incredibly often passed down to us like an unseen burden or a blessing. Perhaps today you are consumed by the chase for six-figure sums, for career pinnacles. But if you dig deeper, you are actually desperately seeking recognition, craving security, striving for the approval of a once unavailable parent, or attempting to heal old wounds of your inner child who desperately wants to finally feel good enough, valuable enough. This is precisely where the most insidious trap lies. You can achieve financial abundance, earn fabulous amounts of money, yet feel a deep, inexplicable emptiness. You can conquer all your intended peaks, realize your boldest goals, but anxiety will continue to swirl within you. This happens because the deep, unconscious beliefs that money can make you whole and complete have never actually had anything to do with money itself. Carl Jung, with his profound insight, accurately described this pattern when he said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." He was speaking precisely of how you genuinely believe you are building a brilliant business or a dazzling career. But in reality, you are merely constructing a complex, multi-layered mechanism for your own survival. Today, we will delve into this complex topic to understand how capitalism subtly consumes your personality, why even the loudest success often breeds shame, and, most importantly, how to truly heal your money story, the one that lives within you, not just the one reflected in your bank account. Imagine you've finally achieved what you've long strived for. Success washes over you. Your income skyrockets. Your lifestyle changes dramatically for the better. People around you start to notice, admire, congratulate, and some perhaps even quietly envy. Pleasant, isn't it? It feels like a well-deserved triumph. But then, almost silently, like a shadow, a strange, inexplicable pressure begins to build. You become more successful, yet more anxious. You are more respected, but you feel increasingly detached from the world. You continue to move forward, reaching new heights, but inside, something inevitably empties, like a precious vessel from which the most important essence drains away. This is where the true test of spirit actually begins. As Jung rightly noted, our ego greedily clings to images. Be it the great achiever, the shrewd entrepreneur, the reliable provider, or the shining star. It craves everything that brings approval, and in the modern world, it is money that buys the most resounding applause. But there is a price that few dare to speak of aloud. When your true essence begins to dissolve in the glow of success, you inadvertently cut off those precious parts of yourself that don't fit the stage persona. Sensitivity, the need for peace, genuine playfulness, natural messiness, in short, your authentic, undistorted self. And the higher you climb the ladder of wealth, the more diligently you sculpt your personality, refining its facets to flawlessly match this polished facade. Every such performance demands cruel suppression. You stifle fear, lock away doubts, drown out the truth. Until one day, without a position, without income, without that carefully constructed image upon which your self-worth was built, you might not recognize yourself in the mirror. Here is the bitter irony. Success is sold to us as a ticket to boundless freedom. But for many, it turns into an elaborate prison, a gilded cage woven from external expectations and a crushing, quiet fear. For once you taste the sweetness of applause directed at your mask, the thought of removing it becomes truly terrifying. What if this all-consuming fear you feel is actually nothing more than a veiled invitation? As Carl Jung said, every profound spiritual trial often hides behind the mask of a material problem. That sharp pain tormenting you in the endless pursuit of money, it's not about finances at all. It's your own soul, your psyche desperately calling out to you, pleading for you to return to your true essence. It's that burning feeling of not enoughness that drives you to work to exhaustion, compels you to obsessively track every number, measuring your self-worth only in monetary terms. But let me tell you, this is not the truth. This is a deep, bleeding wound within you. A wound that doesn't demand more zeal or hustle, but desperately asks for only one thing: an honest, sincere encounter with yourself. Allow me to ask you one, perhaps uncomfortable but vitally important, question. When was the last time you truly sat with your ambitions? Not to judge them, not to reject them, but to truly listen to them. What does this powerful driving force within you truly crave? Is it seeking security, striving for universal approval, serving as a way to escape something? Or is it simply searching for a clear, higher purpose? Because until you dare to deeply understand the true why behind your relentless pursuit, you will be condemned to circle endlessly. A cycle that cleverly disguises itself as fervent productivity, but is in essence just an elaborate avoidance. Avoidance of much-needed peace, avoidance of deep reflection, avoidance of that very uncomfortable but ultimately incredibly liberating question: who am I really when I cast aside all these external attributes and achievements? Let's be clear. we are not demonizing money. Not at all. Money is an incredible driving force. It gives us the ability to create, to support ourselves and our ideas, to scale our dreams. But when these means begin to consume us, becoming the core of our identity, we risk losing something truly sacred, our living connection to our own profound truth. And it is precisely this connection that capitalism, by its very nature, seeks to weaken or even sever. Why? Because a person deeply rooted in their authentic self is much harder to entice, more difficult to manipulate, and, most importantly, virtually impossible to fully control. This is why we will now delve into the shadow side of money. Not the one that gleams on the surface, but the one that lies hidden within us. We will explore the emotional patterns that unconsciously sabotage our success and see how deeply childhood stories and experiences shape our financial reality in adulthood. Let's start with something that, at first glance, seems completely harmless. Your money habits. Think about it. Perhaps you spend mindlessly when gripped by anxiety. Or maybe you frantically hoard every penny, consumed by a panicked fear of falling into need again. Or do you, time and again, unknowingly sabotage every opportunity to earn more? But let me tell you, these aren't just habits. These are patterns. And patterns, in turn, are deeply ingrained stories written long before a single bill ever touched our hands, long before we even understood what money was. Carl Jung's profound teaching on the shadow reveals a deep truth. What we suppress does not disappear. It continues to influence us from the depths of our unconscious. This means that the parts of us we once ignored, feared, or rejected ultimately, and invisibly, control our lives, often without our awareness. And it is precisely this dynamic that manifests in our relationship with money. Imagine if, as a child, you were constantly told that money is evil and rich people are greedy egoists. How do you think your subconscious will react when you yourself start striving for financial success? You will unconsciously sabotage your well-being, pushing away abundance. Or, perhaps, you will cling to every penny with such a desperate grip that your entire nervous system remains in a constant state of survival. Why? Because deep inside, your inner child is convinced wealth equals danger. Do you realize how deeply, even spiritually, this dynamic penetrates our essence? One of Jung's greatest insights was that our psyche strives for wholeness, not perfection. This means that for healing, we need to reunite the parts of ourselves that we once pushed away. Among these is your sincere, natural desire for money, which lives within you, but is simultaneously gripped by a panicked fear of the changes that money might bring. And here's a shocking truth. For many, the fear of having money is far stronger than the fear of not having it. What if getting rich means your friends turn away from you, or their attitudes change forever? What if your family starts demanding more from you than you are able or willing to give, putting you in an awkward position? And what if the most burning pain lies in the fear that people love you only for what you have, not for who you truly are? This is precisely the shadow. That sticky fear, that deep guilt, that oppressive feeling that you are bad simply for wanting more. And no, it won't disappear if you try to turn away or pretend it's not there. It will only dissolve when you dare to face it head on. When you engage in dialogue with it, when you firmly sit opposite this ancient, ingrained belief and, looking it straight in the eye, say, "I see you. I acknowledge your presence and understand why you are here. But from now on, your power over me has ended. You will no longer be my guide." Healing your money story is far more than just new spreadsheets or a perfectly crafted budget. It's not about numbers, it's about the soul. It's about inviting your whole self, without reservation, into this sacred conversation. Your wounded inner child who once felt lacking, your ambitious adult striving for pinnacles, all your frightened, shrinking parts, and, of course, all your powerful, shining facets. Every aspect of your personality, for the truth is undeniable. Until you find reconciliation with the energy of money deep within yourself, no external wealth, no matter how much there is, will ever bring a sense of fullness and sufficiency. It will always slip away, leaving only emptiness. So, it's time to move on to the most important part. Let's finally discuss how to build abundance in a way that harmonizes with your true soul, how to rewrite your inner narrative, transforming wealth not into another false mask, but into a powerful tool for deep healing and genuine prosperity. If you're still here, I'm immensely grateful. This path is full of challenges, but it is one that can transform lives. Be proud of yourself for staying on this course. Your presence here now speaks volumes. It means your interest extends far beyond simply earning money. You strive to understand money, to use it as a tool for your own growth and development. This is a remarkable rarity in a world where most people are too rushed to stop and ask themselves the profound question, how can I achieve financial stability without losing my true self? So, how do we build this process? How do we earn in a way that every action resonates with inner harmony, free from obsession, falsehood, or exhausting competition? How do we stop playing by someone else's rules for money and finally begin to collaborate with it as a powerful force, not an enemy? Carl Jung taught that the soul manifests through symbols, through vivid dreams, and a deep, inexplicable longing. If we neglect these sacred messages, if we allow only external approval and societal rewards to dictate our path, we inevitably sever our connection with our authentic, profound truth. This is precisely why countless people chase careers that ultimately leave them in a state of complete numbness and emptiness. They flawlessly followed all the rules, did everything right, as they perceived it. But somewhere along the way, something invaluable was lost: their own unique inner voice. Let me clarify. When we talk about earning money in harmony with our inner self, it's not about avoiding work or abandoning ambition. On the contrary, it's a profound reorientation of every action you take, so it begins to stem from your authentic essence, from your true strength, rather than from old wounds or fears. It's an invitation to ask yourself piercing questions. What truly unique contribution can I bring to this world? How can I create true value without betraying my soul, my principles? What would success feel like if it were a deep inner peace, rather than the crushing weight of others' expectations? These are, without a doubt, questions of spiritual inquiry. And when you allow these deep questions to become your compass, guiding every decision, an astonishing transformation occurs. Money ceases to be a ruthless master dictating terms to you, and finally becomes a loyal servant working for your benefit. Let's dive into this in more detail. First and foremost, it is crucial to recognize and embrace your true values, rather than simply blindly chasing ambitious goals. We are constantly told to set financial targets, earn this much by this date. But who has ever taught us to ask ourselves a much deeper question? What do I want to feel when this money comes to me? Am I striving for boundless freedom, inspired creativity, a meaningful contribution to the world, or tranquil simplicity? Understand this. If the path you take to money cruelly violates your deep-seated values, then it doesn't matter what astronomical sum you ultimately earn. You will feel empty, like scorched earth. Work will turn into hateful drudgery, and your nervous system will constantly be trapped in an exhausting fight-or-flight mode, draining you to your core. Here's how you can make your journey more intentional and aligned. First, look deep within yourself and identify your true values. Name them, give them form, and only then, building upon this solid foundation, construct your career or develop your business. Never the other way around. Let your values lead you, not circumstances. Secondly, it's time to heal your inner performer. Remember how many of us, as children, unconsciously learned to play a role, just to earn love, impress, please, or be good. We carry this learned behavior into our adult lives as we try to earn. We frantically seek approval, pretending to be someone we're not, just to feel safe. This performer is not an enemy. They are not malicious. They were a loyal protector in the past, created to shield you. But today, you no longer need them. To create stable, harmonious income, you must dare to show your true self, to express your authentic essence. Even if it feels unimaginably vulnerable, even if fear rages within that you won't be understood or will be rejected. Remember, authenticity attracts the very people who are meant for your unique gifts. And it is at this moment that your work ceases to be a chore and begins to feel like a true calling, like purpose. Thirdly, reframe the very concept of abundance. Money is undoubtedly important, but it is only one of its forms. Often, our obsession with solely financial gain paradoxically blocks the very flow of prosperity we so desperately try to create. True abundance is much broader. It encompasses invaluable time, robust health, deep, supportive relationships, inexhaustible creative energy, and inner peace. When you begin to live and act, orienting yourself towards all these forms of abundance, and not just monetary profit, you suddenly discover that opportunities begin to come to you easily and naturally. You stop forcing yourself, you cease the endless race, and it is precisely then, in this newfound ease, that true magic begins to happen. The great Carl Jung once proclaimed that the supreme privilege of our entire life is to become our authentic, true self. When you dare to reveal this version of yourself, sincere, whole, vividly expressed, money will begin to come to you in entirely incredible, previously unseen ways. Perhaps not instantly, perhaps not within the timelines dictated by the world around you, but it will inevitably appear. Because you will finally enter into a deep, harmonious connection with your truth. And here's the astonishing conclusion we reach. Earning money can become a profound spiritual path, but only on one condition. If you are willing to bravely look within, to confront old fears, inherited stories, and long forgotten, yet crucially important, hidden gifts. For true, deepest wealth is not measured by the numbers in your bank account. It is about becoming a person who no longer betrays themselves, who does not renounce their value for approval. It is about finding the inner strength to hold success without losing a single shred of your authentic soul. And this journey, believe me, is worth every step.